Good morning and welcome to the dedication of ribbon cutting for the Hawkinson Welcome Center. We will begin this morning's program with remarks from several speakers, followed by the official ribbon cutting and the unveiling of the building sign, which is back behind us on the sidewalk, before beginning guided tours of the building and enjoying refreshments. Please note that the outside stairs in front of us are not accessible to guests this morning. Please use the side patio entrance when accessing the building for tours. In addition, please use Schaefer Auditorium, our Stratton Administration Center, for restrooms. The Hawkinson Welcome Center will serve as the headquarters for university admissions, serving as a gateway to our campus where prospective students and their parents will be greeted in a comfortable environment and receive all the pertinent information on Kutztown University before embarking on tours of our scenic campus. It will also serve as a facility for the campus and local community to host events, receptions, and meetings. The building honors are passed by including the historic Poplar House on West End and has been named in honor of our current and 12th president, Dr. Kenneth S. Hawkinson. This morning, we will officially dedicate the building and honor its namesake, President Hawkinson, through special presentations and the unveiling of his presidential portrait, which will be permanently hung alongside the images of past university principals and presidents in McFarland Student Union, room 250. Before I introduce our first speaker, there are several individuals joining us today who will not have speaking roles, I would like to recognize at this time. Would you please stand? From the State System Office, we have Randy Goyne, Dr. Randy Goyne, Deputy Chancellor. Randy? We have our old friend with us, Toya Hayward. Toya is the coordinator of board operations at the State System and trustee relations, and she is the former senior executive associate to President Hawkinson here at KU. She taught him everything. From the Kutztown University Council of Trustees, when I call your name, please stand. We'll applaud at the end. Kevin Hardin, Vice Chair. Sandy Green, Jim Ludlow, Diane Lutz, Dr. Guido Pacchini, Chair Emeritus, State System Board of Governors, and Peyton Menser, Student Trustee. We have another old friend, Kutztown University's 10th president, who served from 1987 until 2002, Dr. David McFarland. Dr. Dave is joined by his wife, Barbara McFarland, class of 74 and 76. We have my fellow members of cabinet. Please stand, we'll applaud you at the end. Dr. Lauren Baisden-Arnold, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Jesus Pena, Vice President for Equity and Compliance, Liaison for Legal Affairs, and Matt Delaney, VP for Finance and Facilities. Would representatives from the Department of General Services, so crucial in this project, please stand? I know we have some here with us. There we are. Representatives from URIG Construction, please stand. Representatives from the building architecture firm and consultants, please stand. Mr. Bill Leach, University Project Manager. Bill? Chris Path, Maxatawny Township Zoning Officer. Chris? We have the Superintendent of the Kutztown Area School District, Dr. Christian Tim Chatton, and the CEO of the Allentown School District, Robert Whartonby. This is pretty cool. We have representing the Kutz family, descendants of the namesake of the borough of Kutztown, who purchased this land in 1829 and built a two-story home in 1892 that remains a part of this facility. With us today, Robert Showalter, grandson of the late William C. Kutz, one of the early residents of Poplar House and KU graduate. Robert's wife Susan, KU class of 1979 and 2000, And another generation, we have their daughter, Emily Cairns, KU class of 2008 and 2013, and her children, Susan and Emily, are two of many KU graduates from the Kutz family. Joining us today to honor Dr. Hawkinson, his wife, Marie Hayes-Hawkinson. And Dr. Hawkinson's son, Dr. Shafanda Glees Hawkinson, and his wife, Lindsay. You'll see the order of speakers on the back of your printed program. Also note the portrait on the back of your program with the short write-up that is on display here up front is permanently hung in the lobby behind us. That is the photo of Dr. Hawkinson, Anne-Marie, and our favorite dog, Winnie, which will be on permanent display in the lobby. Also, please be sure to take the souvenir coin on your seats to commemorate today's event. There are also extra coins at the table over to the side here, where, again, there's water for anyone who needs it. We have a special guest with us this morning to open our program. He is the new chancellor at the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education. Please welcome Dr. Christopher Fiorentino.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here today. Very, very much delighted to be here today. During my 40 years at Westchester University, first as a faculty member and ultimately as president, I had the pleasure of visiting Kutztown University and the town of Kutztown many times. Each time I was struck not only by the beauty of this campus, but also by the warmth of this community. Today is especially meaningful for me as it marks my first visit to Kutztown since being appointed chancellor of the state system just 2 months ago. Seems like longer. Thank you very much for asking me to be part of this event today. For generations, this university has opened doors for so many, transforming lives, launching careers, and empowering students to build rewarding lives in our Commonwealth. The history of this campus is remarkable. For nearly 160 years, students have come here first to the Keystone State Normal School and now to this dynamic university to prepare for their futures. And through all these years, Kutztown has remained deeply committed to student success and to the community it calls home. The connection between the university and the town is more than a tradition. It's truly a living partnership that strengthens both. The commitment to students and local impact reflects a broader purpose. As a public university within the PASSHE system, our collective mission is to provide a quality higher education at the lowest possible cost to students. Together, our 10 universities educate more than 80,000 students, most of them from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In fact, our state system institutions serve more in-state students than any other four-year provider in the Commonwealth. The public higher education is about more than numbers. It's about preparing students for lifelong success. That means teaching them to think critically, communicate clearly, and solve problems creatively, something Kutztown does so well as you draw upon this university's rich liberal arts tradition. These are the skills that make our graduates adaptable, resilient, and ready to lead. And that journey begins the moment students first step on this campus. Kutztown exemplifies that mission, delivering both excellence and opportunity to students in this region and across the Commonwealth. Today, we celebrate a powerful symbol of that commitment, the new Hawkinson Welcome Center. This facility will be the first impression for prospective students and their families, each of them eager to find the place where their journey will begin. Here, they'll discover more than buildings and classrooms, but a welcoming campus and community that will challenge, support, and inspire them. This space will also serve as a bridge to the greater community. This is a place where the university and town can gather, connect, and grow together. That spirit of shared purpose is reflected by the name the university has chosen for this building, Dr. Ken Hawkinson. Ken has led Kutztown University with vision, integrity, and deep care for students, faculty, staff, and the broader community. And it's really truly an honor for me to be here for Ken not just for Kutztown University. Ken and I met, as I recall, we first met. I became interim president of Westchester in 2016, summer 2016. And I first attended a presidential retreat, which is one of our annual rituals we go through. And Ken had been here, I guess, for a year at that point. And he and I sat in a booth together and started to chat. And I knew I had found a kindred spirit. And we worked through our presidencies together. He outlasted me. He started a year before me, and he lasted a year longer than I did. So congratulations for that. It's a hard job, I can tell you. And we've become incredible friends. Our wives have become incredible friends. Marie, who is an incredible artist, has shown her art many times in Westchester and has come down and met with my wife Sue. And so that's a bond that we will treasure beyond the time that you all are here in Kutztown. So to be here honoring Ken and that you all are honoring him by naming this building in his honor is absolutely a wonderful thing. And I'm delighted that that's happening and delighted to be here. Dr. Hawkinson, as you prepare for your well-earned retirement, I want to extend my deepest appreciation on behalf of the PASHE Board of Governors and all of your fellow university presidents. You are leaving an extraordinary legacy. This building, named in your honor, is a remarkable place, but what it represents is even greater. This will stand as a lasting symbol of your decade of service to Kutztown, the lives you have improved, and the future you have helped to shape. Congratulations to you, and congratulations to Kutztown on this momentous occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor. Next, please welcome the Chair of the Kutztown University Council of Trustees, Mr. Dennis Giorno.
Good morning. As noted, my name is Dennis Giorno, Chair of the Council of Trustees. On behalf of the Council of Trustees, welcome to this special day, the grand opening and dedication of the Hawkinson Welcome Center. The opening of a new building on campus sparks a sense of both renewal and hope for the future. This beautiful new addition to our campus projects both the warmth and sense of community that embodies KU and the borough of Kutztown. While this building is the gateway to the future to prospective students, the trustees felt strongly that it should also honor the long, storied history of KU. That's why the original Poplar House was included in the design of the Welcome Center. And thank you to the family that's here today. It means a lot to us. And it's also why we decided to name the Hawkinson Welcome Center after our 12th president, Dr. Kenneth Hawkinson. Dr. Hawkinson dedicated 10 years to KU and demonstrated extraordinary leadership, including through the most difficult time in higher ed history, the COVID-19 pandemic. KU's future is bright, in large part to Dr. Hawkinson, and naming such an important building after Dr. Hawkinson is a fitting honor to a distinguished figure in the history of this institution. Thank you, and congratulations to the KU community, and to President Hawkinson.
Thanks so much. Thanks, David.
This facility will primarily serve as the gateway to our campus for prospective students and their families, and will be one of two locations staffed by university admissions personnel, the other being the Kemp Building just across Kutztown Road on Normal Avenue. To tell us more about that, please welcome our next speaker, Vice President of Enrollment Management and Student Affairs, Dr. Stephen St. Onge.
Thank you all for joining us today as we celebrate the completion of the Hawkinson Welcome Center. This center will serve as a bridge between our campus and our many constituents, including prospective students and their families, community members, and alumni. The Hawkinson Welcome Center will be staffed primarily by our admissions team, who I would like to recognize now. Admissions team, please stand. From this location, our admission team and tour guides will be able to highlight the advantages of a KU education. In short, the Hawkinson Welcome Center will be a beacon for welcoming all comers to our beautiful campus. As they have welcomed many onto campus and into their home with warmth and grace, naming this building the Hawkinson Welcome Center acknowledges the commitment President and Mrs. Hawkinson have made to creating a kind and welcoming campus community for us all. Thank you all so much for celebrating with us today.
That's very nice.
Better. We'll now have a series of recognitions presented by our special guest. First, please welcome State Representative Jamie Barton, 124th Legislative District.
Well, welcome everybody. Good morning. So it's a little warm, and Senator Schwank just said, "Hey, Jamie, we should keep our comments to 40 minutes or under." So I promised to do that. And I'd just be curious if anybody finds the irony, as I do, in the fact that we have a welcome center dedicated to a guy that's leaving. We don't want you to leave, but blessings for all that you have done here. And I will say that there's a true reason why this is the Dr. Kenneth Hawkinson Welcome Center, because in fact, Dr. Welcomeson, Dr. Welcomeson. I like that. Is that a Freudian slip or something like that? Hawkinson Welcomeson. He's welcomed many people here, just as this group's been welcomed today. He's welcomed Kutztown High School into this university. He's welcomed businesses to this university, and not just welcomed them, but he's worked with people like the Rodale Institute, who's a leader in agriculture, and certainly Hawk Mountain, a leader in conservation, to the point where they've worked with Kutztown University. But Dr. Hawkinson's been the person who's welcomed them in here. He's welcomed, well, and Anne-Marie, too, has welcomed many people to the point of hundreds. They have hosted hundreds of cocktail parties and dinners and events at their home here in Kutztown. Hundreds, I mean, a lot of them, and that's a lot to be said. That's not on the, I don't think that's on the job description either. And when you walk and you talk to students here, you hear about how they have walks with Dr. Hawkinson on campus with Winnie, actually, their beloved dog. And actually, when I was talking to a couple of the students, I said, "Hey, what's the name of your mascot?" And they said, "Winnie." I don't think so, but yeah, that's a fact too. And likewise, when you talk to those students, they have high regard for you, Kenneth, for what you do and your engagement with them as well. Being welcomed is special, isn't it? And I'm new to this role. I was elected about 2 years and 6 months ago to this position. And one of the first phone calls I got was from Dr. Hawkinson to invite me here. And it was, as you might guess, we started in January, and it was a January, might have been February, that he asked me to come down and meet with him. And I pulled in, Mr. McFarland, to your building. I think I parked right there. And there was Sandy Green. Sandy's here somewhere. Standing outside with an umbrella over her head, with a cone in the parking spot, welcoming me to come here, and took me inside. And then we walked up to Dr. Hawkinson's office, and he sat down with me and chatted. And he asked me about my life. He asked me who I was. He asked me my background, and I did the same with him, and we got to know each other. And then he welcomed me to take a walk on campus. It was cold and it was rainy. We did not have Winnie with us. He welcomed me into his home. And so it's very appropriate that this is the Dr. Kenneth Hawkinson Welcome Center. I'm so proud and happy for this, and we hope that all who walk through these doors are blessed. And thank you very much. Congratulations, Dr. Hawkinson.
So kind.
Please join me in welcoming State Senator Judy Schwenk, 11th Senatorial District.
Hello, KU community. Just a quick observation. I think the people that are standing under the shade of those glorious trees, they are the ones with the advanced degrees. I hope everybody will take this public safety message and make sure you put on sunscreen today. At any rate, it is a wonderful day to be here, and I am so pleased to be a part of the celebration, particularly for Dr. Hawkinson, who's given so much for this university. For those that don't know me, I am State Senator Judy Schwenk, and for the past 14 years, I've had the great privilege of representing this wonderful community, Kutztown, in the Pennsylvania Senate. This is a special community, and the anchor of the community is this university. It's our university, right? Within the system, to us, it is very special. And it gives students the opportunity to get a great education at an affordable price. Over the years, I've worked with Dr. Hawkinson a lot. I also served as a member of the PASHE Board of Governors for many years. In fact, I ended my service in January. And I could always turn to Ken to get some input on what was happening as we went through some interesting times in the system. I see Dr. Gone shaking his head, certainly acknowledging it. And I can also remember at those meetings up in the center in Harrisburg, and the presidents would sit to one side and the Board of Governors was in the front. Whenever we made a vote on something that I knew, maybe presidents aren't going to like this, I would turn to look at Ken. And Ken would have a look. And I would have an understanding of what we were asking these individuals. Ken, among the most outstanding of them, and at the time, Dr. Fiorentino, our chancellor, also among them, that they undertook the challenges that we had in helping to make this a system that will thrive, that will continue to thrive, and serve our students and our communities and the Commonwealth in the way that we need to do that. As we stand here today, Kutztown University is in good shape. Students from Berks County, the Lehigh Valley, and beyond, they want to be Golden Bears. And this new Welcome Center recognizes that fact and will ensure that we have a facility that can meet the needs of students. First impressions are important. For many students, this will likely be one of the first places they visit on the campus. So having a space that is this inviting is so attuned to what our community is. The integration of the old farmhouse into this new center, you've done that very, very well here. And so we'll help everybody to understand what this place is all about and what it offers to so many of our visitors. I'm happy to be here to celebrate this new center and to acknowledge the great work Dr. Hawkinson has done for Kutztown University. I also want to acknowledge Mrs. Hawkinson, who in her own right has served this community most ably in many, many ways. I can remember sitting with her at Girl Scout Council meetings that she got very, very engaged in. Those years of service to this university, Ken, have made a difference, and your legacy will be preserved for future generations of Golden Bears, whom this building is honored and named in. I wish you the best, both of you, in your future. Ken talked about retiring and being a civilian. What's that? I think he will be doing more. There's a lot more to go for him, most certainly, both he and Anne Marie. I wish you again the best. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Judy, that's very kind, and thanks for sharing this journey with me. You've been
Everybody hydrating? Please make sure you drink. Next, we have the mayor of the borough of Kutztown, Mr. Jim Schlegel.
Good morning, everyone. It's almost afternoon. It's going to get hotter. So we're going to be quick with this. I just got to tell you this, a few words. Dr. Hawkinson and I became good friends over the last 8 years since I've been mayor. And I have to tell you, it's on account of him that the Kutztown Police Department is having less and less trouble with the students. It's actually working. Anyway, I have two things for Dr. Hawkinson. The first thing is important, very important. It's the key to Kutztown. In grateful recognition of your 10 years of exemplary leadership, unwavering dedication, and lasting contribution to Kutztown University and the Kutztown community, the mayor and the council of the borough of Kutztown do hereby present you, Dr. Kenneth S. Hawkinson, the key to our town. Borough of Kutztown, Pennsylvania, June 5th, 2025.
So nice. Thank you so much. Let me show this.
Don't sit down. I got one more for you. A couple weeks ago, they had a wonderful program over at the new facility for these percussion instruments, and they did a radio commercial, and one of them was for the Hawkinson automobile. I found that interesting because I'm into cars. Anyway, when he starts the Hawkinson Motor Company in Illinois, he can put this license plate on the front, the Borough of Kutztown license plate.
Jim, that's very funny. Thank you so much.
Come back and visit us, Ken.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Robert Grimm, Esquire, is a current member of the Kutztown University Council of Trustees, having served as chair from 2022 through 2024. Mr. Grimm is here to share some remarks in honor of President Hawkinson and to introduce our next speaker. Please welcome Mr. Robert Grimm, Esquire.
Thank you, Matt. I'll be short. Thank you and welcome to this extraordinary day for Kutztown University and President Kenneth Hawkinson. As many of you know, I grew up on College Hill and was raised in what is now known as the Grimm Homestead, which houses the Kutztown University Foundation business office. I knew that was coming. Through good fortune and longevity, I'm honored to say that I have personally known 6 of our last 12 presidents, including Dr. DeFrancesco, who summoned my brother George to his office when we were youngsters and demanded the return of the stolen key to the college gymnasium. My memories of Poplar House go back to the mid-1950s when I was a paper boy and delivered the Reading Eagle to this house 7 days a week, sometimes after dark, sometimes in the snow. A more pleasant memory of this property is that my grandmother, Nettie Kuhn Grimm, planted the dogwood trees which graced the side yard here for more than 80 years, but which unfortunately had to be sacrificed for this beautiful edifice. I am unable to let this, I'll skip that, it's too high. As you might expect, it is particularly important to me that the university is careful to acknowledge our local history while planning for the needs of the campus and surrounding community. The combination of Poplar House and the Welcoming Center is an outstanding demonstration of this concern. Focusing on why we are here today, I'm pleased to a very great degree that this facility is named in honor of our 12th president, Dr. Ken Hawkinson. I worked closely with Ken over the decade, including during my 2-year term as chairman of the Council of Trustees, as we navigated our way out of the COVID-19 epidemic with the steady leadership of my predecessor, Jim Ludlow. I am in awe of Ken's accomplishments, determination, and grit during his decade as president. But most of all, I am honored to call him a friend. and I wish him and Marie and Winnie the very best as you ride off into the sunset to the west. Remember, this is not farewell. You will always be a golden bear, and we look forward to your welcome returns in the years ahead. As I introduce our next speaker, on behalf of the trustees, we thank the Kutztown University Foundation for its support in the creation of Dr. Hawkinson's presidential portrait. It is truly appreciated. Now let's meet our speaker and creator of the presidential portrait that will complement the university's 159-year legacy when it is hung today in McFarland Student Union alongside the portraits of the past 11 presidents and principals. He will be joined by Alex Ajika, Executive Director of the Kutztown University Foundation, for the unveiling of the portrait. From an early age, Sandra Kapora demonstrated exceptional ability at drawing and painting. She has a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Painting from Kutztown University, receiving the prize for the top fine arts graduate. Sandra has studied in workshops with many prominent artists. She paints primarily from life in the studio and outdoors on occasion. She is inspired to improve constantly her skills as a painter in all subjects: figurative, still life, and landscape. Sandra Kapora is a signature member of Oil Painters of America, from whom she has won an Award of Excellence, and is a signature member of American Women Artists, from whom she has also won an Award of Excellence. Sandra also teaches and conducts workshops, and her work is in private and public collections in Italy, Canada, Norway, Australia, England, and the United States. Along with her husband, Pat, Sandra received an honorary doctorate from KU in 2023. Please welcome Kutztown University's own Sandra Kapora.
Thank you, and I'm so thrilled to be able to unveil the portrait of Ken Hawkinson today, and I shouldn't say much because I think it'll speak for itself. We have enjoyed the collaboration. Anne-Marie and Ken and I worked together in the process of creating the portrait, and they saw every step along the way as each part of it was completed, and so today you can all see the final portrait, which I'm really pleased with, and we'll unveil it now. So there's one more surprise, special for Ken and for Anne-Marie are two additional pieces.
Oh. That is so nice. Good to see you. That's so nice. Oh, thank you so much.
So you always remember your tenure here and, you know, how we've gotten so close. Wonderful. Thank you.
Sandy, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, here's what's going to happen next. We're going to have our featured speaker. Then we're going to do the ribbon cutting right here to my left, the unveiling of the sign on the sidewalk behind us. There will be guided tours, which will begin on the patio of the building. And of course, refreshments are available. I can't stress enough how important it is to stay hydrated. I guess it's my athletic side. All right, our final speaker before we move to the ribbon cutting and reception is our honored guest, the 12th president of Kutztown University, Dr. Kenneth S. Hawkinson.
Well, what a day. What a year it's been, what 10 years, a decade it's been. And so I'm going to take about 5 or 6 minutes to say a few things and to thank a few people. But let me begin by thanking our chancellor, Chris Fiorentino. He didn't mention that that booth we sat in Bloomsburg 9 years ago was in a pub. And, a lot of bonding happens over a beer. And we indeed did become friends, and then our wives became friends. And it's been a wonderful journey to share with you and Sue. And Randy, thanks for coming today. And Artoya, thank you so much for being here. It's like you never left. I want to welcome our mayor, Jim. Thank you for your kind words. And the chancellor just mentioned that the key you gave me is bigger than the one he got from Westchester. So I'm very proud of that. We're honored to have Senator Judy Schwank and Representative Jamie Barton. And thank you so much for your kind words and for sharing this journey with me. And Judy, it's been 10 years. And Jamie, the last few years have been just wonderful. Thank you. And Dennis and Bob, thanks for your generous remarks and your never-ending support. And the same goes for all the trustees who are out in the audience. You've done so much to support me and to honor me by naming this building. Steve, thanks for your remarks and for your wonderful comments about the function of this amazing building. Matt Santos, you're the best master of ceremony ever. Doesn't he have a beautiful voice? We always tell him that. I would also like to recognize a few personal guests. They may have been introduced before, but I'd like to just say a few words. Thanks to my dear friends for their attendance today, David and Barbara McFarland. Dr. McFarland was Kutztown president from 88 to 02. I think that's 14 years, but people lasted longer back then. And one thing, Kutztown's known for having long-serving presidents. That's not always common. Some universities will have 3 and 5 years. Sometimes it's really awful. But Kutztown has always been kind to their presidents, and so they've stayed for a long time. But you may recognize David, as the McFarland Student Union is named in his honor. I want to recognize my dear, dear friends, Colonel Greg Adams and his wife Patty. We served together as young lieutenants in the Army, stationed in Germany, and we have been lifelong friends. I'm so grateful that you came to share this moment with me. And a special thanks to my son, Siobhan, and my daughter-in-law, Lindsay, for coming in from Dallas for this ceremony. They squeezed this between 2 international trips. They recently returned from South Korea and the Philippines, where Dr. Siobhan presented a paper at an international conference, and they will be leaving for France this weekend. I'm very grateful to all the speakers today and the many gracious things said, but let me begin by saying a few words about the unveiling of my portrait and the artist that created it, Sandy Kapora. I want to thank Sandy and her husband, Pat, for their wonderful philanthropy to Kutztown University. Bob mentioned a bit about this, but they've been extraordinarily generous in supporting our students in the arts programs. They have in the past and will continue in the future to make a difference in our students' lives, not only by helping them financially, but also by the time and mentorship they provide to these very talented students. We have witnessed it repeatedly where they actually work with the students both in her studio, and they come here and work with them in the studios that they work in. Thank you for all you do for our students. I can't thank, yes, please. And I can't thank Sandy enough for her work on this portrait that will hang in the president's room in the McFarland Student Union. As Bob mentioned, Sandy's an accomplished award-winning artist who paints across numerous genres. She has painted a number of portraits for those affiliated with KU, Dr. Javier Savelas, my predecessor as president of KU, Dr. Carlton Chambliss, retired professor and benefactor of the Chambliss Observatory here on campus, and more recently, her portrait of alumnus and former Speaker of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, Mark Rossi, and her portrait of Mark hangs in the Pennsylvania State Capitol. I'm honored to be among these individuals. Sandy's portraits are striking in how they capture an individual's personality and soul. Her intent is not to just represent a likeness. A photograph can do that. But through lighting, positioning, perspective, and layers of coloring, she can go deep into the subject and find its essence. Sandy has said that it's important to get to know her subjects and to get a measure of who they are as people, as this greatly informs her recreation of them on canvas. It is humbling to have a portrait done and to know it will be on display for many years to come at this university. It is said that a portrait is a conversation frozen in time. I hope that as the years and decades pass, the portrait will convey my love for this institution and my gratefulness for having served in the role of university president. Thank you, Sandy. Now, this wonderful building. Little did I know 10 years ago when we managed to get the request for a Welcome Center approved by the state system for state funding, that a decade later, it would carry my name. I can't thank enough the Council of Trustees again and all involved in rendering upon me this incredible honor. What is particularly meaningful for me is the purpose of this building, a center that welcomes future students, families, visitors, townspeople, and so many others to our campus. It sits on the corner that connects the town to the university and is a crossroads wherein people of all walks of life can come together and share in the excitement and magic of higher education. I hope it represents my story of a first-generation college student who was rescued by his teachers and professors and molded and shaped into what eventually led to my becoming the president of this great institution. As a Peace Corps volunteer many years ago in West Africa, I was greatly touched by the generous people who welcomed me into their homes and lives. People who literally had almost nothing would gladly give me what little they had. They'd give what little they had to their guests and make them feel welcomed. It is something I've tried to carry forward in my own life, to be gracious, to share food and drink as we welcome people into our home. Let this center be a place where each individual who walks through the door is greeted with joy, is offered refreshment, is engaged, and is valued. To have this culture in this Welcome Center would be the greatest compliment to my presidency and to me. Indeed, for the past decade, a sign has greeted all who come to our office of the president with the statement, "Through these doors walk some of the world's most important people." So let it be the case for those who walk through these doors. Finally, you'll note on the panel on the wall in the lobby, it displays not only me, but also Anne-Marie and our dog, Winnie. Anne-Marie was the perfect presidential spouse. She attends numerous events and was instrumental in the comprehensive fundraising campaign, in welcoming and entertaining the many guests to the house, in speaking at countless receptions, and by serving on boards and being an excellent ambassador for the university. Anne-Marie was my friend, partner, and witness on this journey, and her advice and support was essential to me throughout this past decade. With our dog, Winnie, she also was a goodwill ambassador to our students with walks around campus with our cuddly little dog that brought smiles and great joy to students, faculty, and staff on a daily basis. We like to think that our future students will see the three of us in the photo and read of our walks with Winnie, and that it will indeed convey a message of welcome and of home. what is more welcoming than a cute dog? So I'm delighted to welcome you all to the opening of this wonderful new Welcome Center. It is one of a kind, and I'm sure there is nothing quite like it in the world. And so thank you so much for the honor that has been bestowed upon me and my family, and thank you for coming today to share this wonderful event. My best wishes to you all.
Thank you, everyone. All right, let's move to the ribbon cutting